Yeah, Skol Gang 365, let's get it. D-Roy spitting facts, you know what it is. Moneyappolis in the house, Colin got the wisdom. We bringing you that real, ain't no skepticism. D-Roy on the mic, ready to attack, spitting straight fire. Ain't no looking back in the city of lakes, where the legends play. Moneyappolis vibes, yeah, we seize the day. Predictions on point, got a vision so clear. Every game, every season, you know we persevere. From the draft picks to the trade, here to echo loud. Skol Gang 365, we making our crowd proud. Fuck the Bears, fuck the Lions, fuck the Packers too. Skol Gang is here, yeah, we keep it true. Get all your Viking news, rumors dropping first. We the anthem of the North, feel a Skol Gang thirst.
This is a Huddle Sports Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, Facebook, and of course YouTube. Get all your NFL news here first.
What is going on? Here to talk some Vikings football. Welcome to Skol Gang 365. I'm your host, Darren. First things first, I hope everybody's having a great weekend. Thank you for tuning in and watching. Here's my co-host, Colin. How's it going tonight, sir?
Oh, not too bad. Just had a spirited debate on piranhas and anacondas in the Amazon rainforest in Brazil over on the last podcast. But other than that, I'm doing good.
I think you had a debate with Chad.
We did. We're talking about the really crappy, movie from the 70s, Piranha, and how even as a kid I was scared of that movie, but then I watched it recently. I was like, what is wrong with me? Why was I afraid of that? Okay, well, anyways, let's go back to football, shall we?
Well, and this has been happening for like a week now, where Packer fans are now saying it. Lion fans have been saying this shit. Bear fans are only ones that I've talked to that have been logical about it. Is that these motherfuckers think that we're going to be having like 7 wins in last place. Dude, you got to be fucking smoking some crack.
I don't mind them saying that, because quite honestly, they said the exact same thing last year when we had Sam Darnold. I think that there's uncertainty with JJ, but JJ was playing better than Darnold was in the preseason last year. When he got hurt. So, let him think that. That's fine.
Colin Cowherd said it last year.
Cowherd loved them because they had Darnold, and any West Coast guy, Darnold, or now his show is based out of Chicago, so now he thinks the Bears are really going to be contenders because of Caleb Williams and blah 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 blah.
Cowherd's got us finishing last again, so
Colin Cowherd's being a real colon about that, so he just needs to stop being a colon. Although I don't know if I necessarily like the other guy that's on his show going, hey, the Vikings are going to be one of my surprise teams. I was like, that guy's the kiss of death when it comes to things. So he's a Jets fan. I can't remember what his name off the top of my head is, but
dude, Jet fans just need to worry about the Jets.
Well, there's nothing to worry about the Jets. They're exactly where they're going to be probably again in the basement. So that's just, they got Justin Fields.
They just need to sell that team.
Well, the guy doesn't want to sell him. That's the problem.
The owner that keeps them in that area. They just need a new ownership.
They do, but the guy Woody Johnson's not selling them anytime soon. It's kind of like the owner of the Knicks. That guy is a terrible owner. But he's not selling them anytime soon. The Knicks owner has done one good thing, and they hired Leon Rose to be their GM. The Jets, it's almost like the Cowboys. It's almost like you got to wait them out until the owner dies, and then maybe something will change. If I was the owner's kid of any NFL team and they were to die, I'd be like, shit, let's sell this team now. You know how much NFL teams are worth now? Good Lord Almighty. You wouldn't have to you'd have 8 generations of family members never having to do anything. So, I mean, I get the prestige of owning it, but like, dude, throw the chips in. You never know what might happen. So, yeah.
Exactly.
But no, I mean, they can say whatever they want about the Vikings. The Vikings upgraded at every position they needed to upgrade, with maybe the exception of corner. But I still feel like they have enough cap space that if they wanted to get a veteran corner, they very easily could.
So from what I was hearing, like they were saying that corner's out the window, but they're not turning down looking at safety. So I mean, Justin Simmons is still out there. I think he's somebody to watch.
I thought he signed with the Packers. Or no, that was Isaiah Simmons. I'm sorry, that was Isaiah Simmons. Yeah, I mean, I would be okay with that. I mean, within reason, within salary reason, I would be okay with it. I feel like you need to predicate some money aside. If for some reason JJ gets hurt again, I feel like they need to put aside a little bit of cash. So if they were doing well and they needed to get a veteran, like maybe go get Flacco or somebody like that, I feel like they need to have some money put aside. I'm okay with Flacco. Like, I don't know why. I don't know why they think that they can. I mean, it's not a matter of resurrecting Sam Howell, because I mean, I can't question KOC's talent when it comes to quarterbacks, but I don't know. Flacco's won a Super Bowl. He did really well with Cleveland a couple of years ago when they signed him off the street. Like, I feel like he could be a good mentor and he could be a very capable backup. I feel like I think getting him would be a good move.
Also, since we're talking about the quarterbacks, Max Brosmer's been fucking really shining.
I've heard. I think he's a practice squad guy, and I think he would be fine with it. I don't think anybody. I mean, when they picked him up, I don't think anybody thought anything of it, and I don't think he's gonna, be able. I don't know if he were to be put to the practice squad, any team would really throw a line out there to take a chance on him being a second or third quarterback. So I think they'll end up keeping him on the practice squad, which is fine. I mean, if he plays well, then I'm cool with it. As long as he's on the practice squad, I don't want him on the regular team unless he really does well.
Yeah,
I don't want him out there with the regular.
Like puts in that work and KOC can really get something out of him.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just not sold on Howell. Like and I have faith in JJ, but I'm not sold on Howell being our backup quarterback. Something about that just doesn't seem right.
So
I was more sold on Keenum than I was on Howell.
You're saying he's like Timu Baker Mayfield.
Oh, Baker Mayfield's way better than him.
Yeah,
I mean, I would have loved to have seen them go after Baker a couple of years ago. I would have. I mean, and I'll go back to the draft. I would have been okay with us taking Shedeur Sanders. Like the way that I think Shedeur on the right team to me, with the right kind of coaching. I feel like if we would have taken him in the 4th or even the 5th round, I feel like with the kind of coaching that he could get from KOC, I mean, I think the fact that he got that 5th round pick, I think that was enough of a slap in the face to be like, okay, I'm motivated now. Now I know that he's gotten 2 speeding tickets. I think him and Jordan Addison must be driving in the same car, because he got 2 speeding tickets this preseason of pretty big time speeding tickets. But when it comes to his talent, I mean, if you can channel that talent, and if anything more than this is this, you can get something out of him and start to develop some of his tools. That 4th or 5th round pick that you had, if you get in the hands of a team that's desperate for a quarterback, that 4th or 5th round pick quarterback could mushroom up to 3rd, 2nd, or even a 1st rounder in a year or 2 from now. Yeah. So look at it as a return on investment a little bit. I mean, really, 5th round picks, I mean, they make the teams, but like, do they? I mean, in the odds of them being like huge stars isn't terribly high. So I would have been okay with them drafting him. And I don't think honestly, with JJ's mindset, I don't think he would have viewed him as like a threat to the job. I think it would have just been putting more athletic ability in the room. So,
Exactly.
but
And from what I was seeing, CBS put out like a thing where they think these some of these corners are gonna go. They got Ramsey going to the Chargers, and they're looking at like what I was talking about last Saturday, Newsom coming to the Vikings.
yeah, I would be okay. I mean, I like Ramsey's name a little bit better, and I feel like we could get him on a lower cap
Right.
number because I feel like Miami wants to wash their hands of that cap hit. But I think Newsom, I think it would just be dependent on what kind of pick we'd have to give up to get him. Like, I feel like we gave up a lot a couple years ago for Hawkinson. As long as it's like a manageable pick, like a 6-rounder for Jordan Mason, totally down for that. 2 years worth of picks for Hawkinson, especially with what Detroit did with the pick that we gave them. They ended up getting Laporta, who arguably is better than Hawkinson right now. So, hindsight's 2020, but I mean, if I had to pick between, if you traded a 3rd or 4th round pick, if I had to pick between Newsom and Ramsey, I would probably do Ramsey, mainly because Newsom's younger, and I feel like he might ask for more money and a longer term than Ramsey is. I think Ramsey could be like the Stephon Gilmore, Shaq Griffin that we had last year, which is like he's got the pedigree in the name, but you don't have to fully commit to a long-term extension with him at this point in his career because he's already gotten 2 big contracts.
Right. And from what I've been hearing is Miami would eat up a lot of that cap.
Yeah.
So they'd be willing to take on a lot of that.
Yeah, and I still think he's a viable option. I mean, I think if he were to be traded to the Vikings, I think he would immediately ascend to be the number 1 corner on the team. I think that I don't really think there's a lot of debate on that. I feel like Murphy is more of the slot corner. I feel like I think Isaiah Rodgers is going to be I think he's a big addition to the team. But if you want a guy initially that is going to be like the guy that you could go and be like, yep, I can put him on an island and he can take care of, DJ Moore. Or he can take care of Ross St. Brown, or whichever wide receiver the Packers thinks is their guy this year, whether it's Golden or Jalen. I think Jalen Reed's still their best wide receiver, but that's just my opinion.
I think it's Golden Shower is their best receiver.
Golden Shower. Okay.
Yep.
Did they pick him up from Bangkok, or did they pick him up from Phuket? That's better.
They actually raided Cook County PC and picked him up from R. Kelly's unit.
Oh wow. Okay. Well, I mean, we're both Minnesota people. We're both Minnesota. I'm not getting in Sarah's thing, but you better get off like University Dale area. You got to watch out over there. Just putting it out there. Maybe you side with me too. Just saying. Go over to Stargate. Let's go and find some there too. Sarah's watching this now and is going, I hate you, Colin. I hate you so much right now.
Apparently they saw a lot of tape on this guy out on the yard, and they were like, yep, we need to go get this guy.
Oh, man. Ay. Just make sure you wash your hands before you get them.
Longest yard, part 3.
The longest of all the yards. Ay. Hopefully it's not like a Russian entrenchment camp, then just golden showers turn into golden halos just that quickly. So yeah.
But I mean, from what I've been seeing is these Lion fans don't make sense. They're sitting there saying they're better than us. I'm like, dude, we had a better offseason. We upgraded. I'm like, our offensive line right now is better. Our defensive line is better than yours. The only thing I will give them the nod is running back, obviously quarterback for now, and secondary. That's it.
Yeah. I mean, the Lions are, they've won the division 2 years in a row. So I can't, until proven otherwise, the Lions are a contender in the division. There's no getting around it. There's 3 teams that are going to contend for it. It's the Lions, the Vikings, and the Packers. The Bears will be in last again and again.
Lion fans think that we're going to be tied with the Bears. It's cool.
Well, Lions fans also eat spaghetti sandwiches, so at least some Lions fans do. So they will not sweep. I will make a bold prediction: the Lions will not sweep the Minnesota Vikings this year. I'm not saying ever, and I'm not saying we'll probably split with them.
Yeah,
so
we're gonna split.
I think the Ragnow retirement is a definitely. I mean, I think that's just for any Lions fan out there. The Ragnow retirement is just as honest, is just as tough and unpredictable as you guys seem to think that JJ McCarthy starting for the Vikings is.
I love that you guys turned down Zadarius Smith and had a roll with Davenport. I love it.
The guy, so he keeps getting paid. Davenport is the Ben Simmons of the NFL. Some team always seems to get jumped into paying that fool. I don't care. And Chad will be like, yeah, well, we're not paying. We're getting him on good money. I'm like, you know what else is getting something on good money? A guy that plays.
Yeah.
Like, my buddy's a Saints fan, and he's like, yeah, you can have Davenport. Have him. Go ahead. And we found out exactly what happened with that. So, yeah.
Nope, not us. The Lions' baggage.
Yeah. Well, I have heard another rumor, though, that the Vikings may be interested in Matthew Judon from the Atlanta Falcons because the Falcons may be looking to shed salary. I mean, the Falcons don't have a good defense, and Judon was a really good pass rusher for the Patriots for a long time, and Flores was with New England. So there is a little bit of correlation with that. I'm not even saying we necessarily need him, but I think that, like, if you look at our defensive line, like, I'm not saying in the edge rushers, but I'm just saying like the defensive line, because they're moving it, they're using it with Hargrave, Allen, and Phillips. I feel like that line could be out there most downs, but I think Judon rotating in maybe as a defensive interior defensive end. I'd be okay with that. I mean, at the right price. I mean, if we're not spending a ton, for our secondary or questionable secondary, what helps the secondary out? Pass rush. So adding more pass rushers to me isn't a bad idea. True. I'm not saying it'll happen, but I would look in the corner room. But I think our safety spot is fine.
I think they don't make a move at corner. I think they do that next year. I think it's like safety could happen this year and possibly. See, I don't know
why are we so focused on getting a safety? I don't understand. We have 3. I mean, we have Tristan Jackson, we have Josh Metellus, and we have Harrison Smith again. Like, we have 3 safeties. I don't get where the push is to get a safety. Maybe draft a safety next year, but I don't really feel like we need to get a safety. I mean, Simmons would be nice. Again, another guy at the right price, he would be nice. But I would rather have a corner than a safety, but that's just me. I also think that somewhere we need to kind of keep an eye on is if a team were to drop an offensive tackle, like a veteran offensive tackle, I would be in the market for one of those guys. I would get a veteran offensive tackle. I like Walter Rouse. I do. I think he's a very versatile guy. But like what happened last year with Darrisaw, I'm not saying these things are going to happen, but to sign a veteran tackle as like a swing guy or a backup to me would be a smart move, because then you don't have to trade draft capital in season again for another tackle. And during the season, it's much harder. You have to give up a higher pick during the season to get a offensive tackle, because everybody needs offensive linemen and veteran offensive linemen. So if I was Kwesi, I would keep a very close eye on veteran offensive tackles that may end up being cut towards the start of training camp or even the middle of training camp. I would keep a really close eye on it, because I would like to have a more veteran tackle as a backup.
Right.
Or guard.
I wouldn't mind a tackle or a guard. I mean, with Darisaw had gone down, and then with O'Neal with the history of being banged up, I think you need to have a guard or a tackle there.
I think Brandel, honestly, moving out of the, I'm going to assume that he's going to be out of the starting lineup now. I think Brandel moves back to his natural position of being like kind of a jack of all trades backup. I think that actually is good for Brandel's career. I think we gave it a try with him at left guard. He was okay, but I feel like he was more impactful as being a good utility offensive lineman. I think him and Rouse could do a really good job with that. But like I said, having a veteran offensive tackle to me would be a really good piece to shore things up.
I also wouldn't mind a veteran center either.
Yeah, well, I mean, we've got Kelly, so I mean, I think Kelly and Juergens is going to be okay. I think that one I'm actually okay with. I think so. I mean, it'd be okay. I mean, if Kelly goes down, maybe a different story. But I think Kelly. I think we've got him for 2 years. So, I mean, assuming Kelly stays healthy, we've got our center locked down for 2 years, and we got the right guard locked down for 2 years as well.
Right.
So, I think for once, I'm not. For a first time in a long time, I'm not as concerned with our offensive and defensive lines. I think they really made some great pickups and strides to make both sides of the ball better. I think they looked really hard into that game against the Rams and the game against the Lions, the last 2 games of the season, and went, yeah, we need to fix this. And they did. I mean, and they swallowed hard and let Bradbury go, which I'm sure was probably a hard thing to do, but it was something that needed to be done. Like, Bradbury is getting forklifted. Like, you could not go in a season like it. I mean, Ryan Kelly is not going to get forklifted. And the irony of it is, Kelly was playing for the Colts the day that Grover guy totally spine bustered Bradbury in that game. That was the irony. I'm like, I'm sure Kelly was sitting on that sideline going, dude, I would never let that Grover Stewart do that to me. Not even in practice. Forget that. Go Pack, go all day. Is JJ the right guy? We'll find out. I think he is, but we'll find out. It does. It does. There's no getting around it. I know we were having a discussion about Dallas Turner on the last show, and I came up with a loose comparison of Dallas Turner to Rashawn Gary only on the basis of when Packers drafted Rashawn Gary, they had signed Za'Darius and Preston Smith in the offseason, who both played the same position as Gary. And to me, for them, there was so many good wide receivers in that draft that they passed on when they needed a receiver that it just didn't make any sense to do that. The Bears might be better. They said that last year too, Go Pack Go. They said it last year too.
The Lions are also saying it too, but they lost a lot.
I think the Lions, for as much as, and I'm not going to defend the Lions, for as much as they did lose, they have a lot coming back. They had a lot of injuries last year. And I think the injury, I think it's more of a coaching thing with the Lions with your Allsy and the DC going?
That's going to be coming around coming back around November, around Thanksgiving.
Who's that?
McNeil.
Oh, he's not coming back till Thanksgiving, really? Wow. Okay. I mean, Hutchinson's coming back. I mean, you don't know how that's going to go. I mean, he's a freak athlete, so I'm sure he'll be fine. But we'll see. I don't think they're going to be like the Packers. A lot of people are dogging on the Lions. I don't think they're going to be as bad as people think. But
yeah,
that sounds about right. Go Pack Go. I've been telling this to you Packers fans for a long time. I think if you follow the model on offense, if you follow a model of how the Kansas City Chiefs have done business over the last 10 years, if you can make that offense about Jacobs, Love, and Kraft, and then you just use everybody else and find a role for everybody else, I think that could make you an elite team if you just focus your time on that. Because you do have a good offensive line. And Kraft is your best receiver. Like if you can make Kraft and do like a Travis Kelce, I'm not even remotely saying that Jordan Love is Patrick Mahomes, but oh geez, come on. You can't deny, oh stop it. You can't deny that Mahomes, Kelce, and Pacheco and some of their skill play. You can't deny their talent. Come on now. When they had Tyreek, oh my God. Forget about it.
Yeah, now they got a mini Tyreek. Now they got Xavier Worthy.
And don't forget they have Rashee Rice coming back too. That's a formidable. I think for as much as people are kind of sleeping on Kansas City, like Rashee Rice was looking good at the end of his first year, and he was looking pretty decent at the start of last year. So I think a healthy Rashee Rice and Worthy is an interesting one too. And I would also keep an eye on Gray, the tight end. I think Gray played really well at times for the Eagles or for the Chiefs last year. Well, I mean, they could have fired the refs from the Vikings Saints game, from the NFC Championship game a long time ago, but can't just fire all the coaching staff, or you can't suspend all the coaching staff without the officials taking a little bit of onus on that. So,
right.
But I think the key to McCarthy's success is all the moves they've made, like upgrading the offensive line, re-signing Josh Oliver, trading for Jordan Mason, drafting Ty Felton. I think they're doing everything in their power to make it as easy a transition for McCarthy as they can. Does the NFC North? I think the Vikings do, because we're not playing them in Pittsburgh. I think everybody that talked about how the Vikings might be at a disadvantage for playing 2 games overseas, I'm like, well, we didn't lose a home game out of it. We're playing Cleveland in London, and we're playing Pittsburgh in Ireland. I mean, we're not playing at Heinz Field or whatever the name of that place is now. We're not playing in the dog pound. So I think that's going to work in the Vikings' favor totally. I mean, the Vikings have actually played well overseas, so.
That is true. We do have huge targets on offense.
A lot of them, too. A lot of targets now. I mean, people forget about Naylor. Yeah, that trade for Mason, I think that was the low-key, that might have been the most underrated and best acquisition by the Vikings. They look bad. Yeah. I mean, Aaron Rodgers. Again, I was on board with us signing Aaron Rodgers. I will not walk away from that, because I still kind of think that maybe JJ needs one more year of being healthy and practicing and being a part of the team. I still think he does. And I would have been fine with Rodgers going to the Vikings, but I trust O'Connell though, because O'Connell, what is there not to trust in O'Connell? I mean, he got the most out of Kirk Cousins. He got something out of Nick Mullins. He got something out of Josh Dobbs. And look what he did with Darnold last year. So I have trust and faith in him. I agree. That would have been interesting. So what's another underrated, what do you think is another underrated possible out of nowhere player we could be going after?
Ooh. Underrated. I wouldn't mind bringing in Devin Bush to pair up with Ivan Pace.
Ooh, that's an interesting one. I was disappointed that they didn't put the line in the water on Jermaine Pratt when Cincinnati.
Yeah.
I would have really liked to see that. I feel like they have the Bush thing. I would be on you on it, but I feel like the Kobe King trade. Yeah. I think that drafting of him, I think may have ended any kind of thought of that, because I mean, you don't forget they have Blake Cashman still. Right. So, and I think Blake Cashman, they won like almost every game that Blake Cashman played in. So it's not as though they don't have talent. Who out in the NFC North? Who?
That's going to be tough. That is going to be tough.
I think it depends on where they play them.
Yep, because we play them this year in Minnesota.
I think the Vikings could beat the Eagles. I think they could. I mean, with the additions that the Vikings had, they got tougher. And don't forget, Hargrave was an Eagle at one point, so he has a little bit of the inner. And Rodgers, they both have some of the inner knowings of what goes on with that Eagles team. Eagles are still, I mean, they've got to be considered the favorite in the NFC. I don't think there's any getting around. I'm not taking any flowers from them.
Yeah.
No, I think the Cowboys will beat the Bears.
3-1.
I think the Cowboys will beat the Bears. But other than that, I think they all beat Dallas. I think the AFC North, that's going to be where if you're going to be called a contender in the NFC North, it's how you take care of the AFC North. I think, again, we get the advantage of playing Pittsburgh and Cleveland overseas, so we don't have to play them on their home field. And we get the Bengals and we get the Ravens in Minnesota, I believe.
Yep.
I think we split that. So I think both of the harder teams in that division, Baltimore and Cincinnati, I feel like we kind of have lucked out, and we're playing both of them in Minnesota. So that should be, in theory, an advantage for us. I think our secondary against Cincinnati is going to be tested big time. And I mean, Baltimore, I mean, you got to play the perfect game to beat them, man. They're a tough squad. I mean, so
offensively, I think like if they're hanging touchdowns on us left and right, I think that game's going to come down to a shootout.
Yeah, well, you're going to see a lot of what McCarthy's made of too. Right. You know, those are the kind of like wins for a young quarterback in a season, like those big games. You're going to see. I mean, even if we don't win, if he shows up and puts a good effort out there, I think that's going to keep earning them his stars no matter what. So yeah, I'm excited about this year. I'm excited. I'm really excited to see if they can get that run game going. Like the Mason and Aaron Jones running game, I think that is going to really play a big factor in the team's success. Because, again, I feel like they upgraded the offensive line. They upgraded the defensive line. But Mason, to me, with Jones, that is going to be crucial. I think that could be a big, tip of the cap to the Vikings if they can get that running game going and be versatile. I mean, we were one of the worst teams in the NFL last year when we got into the red zone when it came to scoring touchdowns. I was at that Jacksonville game. I can't even banter enough about that stupid game. We won it. I think we won it like 12-7 or something like that, or 12-9. Oh, it was the worst football game I've ever watched live in my life. It was so ugly because we couldn't score in the red zone. We get it down there and we throw a pick, or they just got stopped. I was just like, why? I mean, that Detroit game, the last game of the year, like watching that was just so bad because we would move the ball. Like I don't know what the mental block was when you can move the ball 50, 60 yards, but you get to that last little bit and it's like you tense up. Like you can't, I mean, just run them over. Like do it. Like just figure out a way to get into the damn end zone. That's all I got to say about that. Like I mean, it's nice to score long touchdowns, but you know, it's what it is. Oh.
Yeah, I agree. We don't know who's good until we start playing.
Yeah, well, I know the Bears won't be good, so I'll make a preemptive call on that. The Bears will not be good.
What's going on, Jefferson?
What's going on?
Hey, look at this guy. Hey, thanks for the kudos on the other show about everybody bowing down to me. I enjoyed getting that 10 to 15 seconds of wisdom there. That was nice.
I mean, if you look at it, go Pack, go. I mean, Lions played you guys tough both games. The first one wasn't even like a game. It was more like a lashing in Lambeau.
Matt, what you got to add to this little fun and excitement here?
So I was thinking about it today. I went and watched the movie F1, by the way. You guys gotta go see it. Check it out.
It's worth it? Okay.
Oh, it's 20 stars good.
Wow, a 20-star. Wow. Go see it. Heard.
There's going to be some growing pains this year. It's going to be within the first couple games. And that's our Murderers Row. Yeah, most of the playoff teams from last year.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I agree with there's going to be some growing pains, but I think it's nice that it's a little bit of a softer start to the schedule.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's quite as big of a competition until we start getting towards the middle of the season. So I think that's the perfect time for JJ to start developing that confidence, for that running game to get it going, and everything else kind of blossoms out from there.
Yeah. He might start week 3, the last preseason game, just to get everything down. And then, we have the first 3 games are going to be fine. Chicago, Atlanta, Cincinnati, fine.
Yeah.
And then we go to
Cincinnati's a little bit more of a roadblock, but yeah, I agree with you.
It depends on if they have Trey Hendrickson.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, we can do a shootout with that team. It could be interesting. And for whatever reason, every year, Cincinnati always has a slow start. I mean, that's the only reason why they didn't make the playoffs last year. I think they went like 1-7 or 2-6. Like, they always start so slow. But I like the fact that we're playing them in Minnesota this time. Like, it always seemed like we always played them in Cincinnati. It's nice that we finally get to play them in Minnesota this time.
I was talking to one of my friends. His name is Superfan Ben Tice. He told me about the Pittsburgh one, like in January, that there was this rumor floating around, but he never told me about the Cleveland. I don't think he even knew. Oh, shout out to Tailgate Spices. Superfan Ben Tice, he actually owns that company. So if you're looking to support a Viking fan-based business.
What company?
It's called Tailgate Spices.
Tailgate Spaces?
Spices.
Tailgate Spices. Oh, okay. Yep. All right. Yeah, I think I remember you guys talking about them before.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I'm glad week 6, I'm torn. Yes, it's great to have the early bye, but it's bad at the same time.
Yeah, because right when we come off that bye, don't we got the
Philly.
Eagles?
Yep, Philly and Minnesota on Monday night. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you guys this. Who the hell decided to put that game as a noon game instead of like a 3:25?
Yeah, it should have been.
Oh, the Philly game it's a noon game, really?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, with our history of playing the Eagles in later games, I'm actually okay with that. I mean, the last time we did that, I'm pretty sure that Stephon Diggs had 3 touchdowns in Minnesota against Philly. So, but we did, I think we did, no, we did, or no, that was the 49ers. My bad. That was 49ers we beat on Sunday night or Monday Night Football. Okay. Yeah, the earlier we can get the Eagles, the better, I guess. But like I was saying, like playing Pittsburgh and playing Cleveland overseas and not having to play them in really a road game, I think that works in our favor more than people think.
Last year we had the week 6 bye. The next 2 games, we lost them.
Well, it was Detroit and the Rams, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, or we played Detroit, we lost to them, and then we lost to the Rams coming back from the bye. I think that's how that worked.
Yeah.
But I mean, we'll see. I mean, this is a different team. This is a upgraded interior offensive line. This is an upgraded interior defensive line. I think that, with a healthy Mason, with a healthy Jones, I think we can run the ball better. I love the fact that people are down and playing us again. And I love the fact that people are like, oh, JJ McCarthy, he's just a one-trick player. You don't know anything about him. Like, I'm sorry. I watched the game against the Raiders, and I know it was a preseason game. He looked like a seasoned pro out there throwing those balls in that game. Like, he looked excited. The team looked excited to have him. I was thrilled to see how good he looked. And it sounds like he's doing the same thing again in the OTAs. And I will caution though, I was telling Darren this earlier, I would like to see the Vikings with some of that money. I mean, we talked about corner. I mean, somebody brought up safety. I'm not as big on getting another safety, but I'm big on us getting a veteran offensive tackle that gets cut. I do not want to run into the same problem as we had last year when Darisaw went down and having to trade away future draft capital to get an offensive lineman, a good offensive tackle. Like, O'Neill's had some history with it. Darisaw's had some history with it. Like, I'd feel better having a veteran tackle. If somebody were to let go of a veteran tackle in training camp, I would be all over signing a veteran tackle. What do you think?
Oh yeah, we have $23 million in cap space right now.
Yeah, and that's not even renegotiating O'Neill's contract, which would open another 10 or 11.
Right. Well, and then looking forward to next year, if this all stays the same, we're going to be at the start of the offseason next year, we're going to be $60 million in the hole.
Yeah, well, here's the thing about it, though. A lot of these contracts are 1-year deals.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they can kind of move that around a little bit more. So, I mean, if you look at the team right now, you look at some of the guys that may be on the hook. I mean, I could see Hawkinson possibly being moved. I could see Harrison retiring. I mean, I don't think it's a huge cap hit, but I could see Harrison retiring. Who's some of our other money guys? I don't know. I'm trying to think of some of our big money players. Addison isn't making anything. Aaron Jones, I mean, I guess he could be a cap casualty. I don't think he has a guaranteed contract. That's another 10, I think. So, I mean, Brzezinski's he's a good money guy. Like Rob Brzezinski does a really good job managing the salary cap. So you never know. Hargrave and Allen might be gone. I mean, who knows? So
Right.
I think the fact that they signed these guys to such shorter contracts, with the exception of Fries and Grenard, they really don't have a lot of years committed to these guys.
Mhm.
So my one regret before the beginning of last season was not trading Daniil Hunter in season a couple years ago when Cousins went down. And you guys know Daniil Hunter was one of my favorite players on the team. But when Kirk went down, I thought we really dropped the ball and not trading him when we could get maximum value for him. I mean, talked to a buddy of mine who's a 49ers fan. Like, we probably would have given you a second or a first round pick for Hunter. Because I think they went out and got like Chase Young, but I mean, they would rather have Chase Young to go with. They'd rather have Hunter to go with Bosa than Chase Young to go with Bosa. So if we could have made that happen, I would have been happier.
All right, so I got a interesting piece between the Vikings and the Eagles that I pulled up here. So this is a really, really tight series head-to-head all time. They got a 1 point lead on us, 16-15.
Ooh.
They always beat us in the playoffs, though. That's why I can't stand the Eagles. They always beat us in the playoffs. I think we're like 0-4 in the playoffs against them, though. It sucks.
And this is actually going to be Philly's first visit to Minnesota since their first Super Bowl.
No, we played them with Wentz. We played them there. In Minnesota. We played them because I remember Stephon Diggs had 3 touchdowns in the game.
We played them in 2019. We beat them 38-20 at home.
Diggs had 3 touchdowns in that game. I remember that.
We lost to them in 2022, 24-7.
Okay.
And then we lost to them in Philly again, 2023, 34-28.
How am I still?
So
you might have been thinking about the year after when we played them in Philly, right after they won the Super Bowl, when Linval Joseph had that like really long fumble return for a touchdown.
Yes.
You're talking about 2018.
The year after they won the Super Bowl,
We beat them 23-21.
Yeah, with the Linval Joseph, I need an oxygen tank running back a fumble score. That was so fun to watch.
But
I enjoyed that thoroughly. Yeah. Well, that was Wentz, though. That was the end of Wentz's last year, I think, with Philly, because he got banged up in that playoff game, and I think they cut him. So
he had a roller coaster ride.
I never could understand why they didn't re-sign Foles. I will never understand that.
Just a backup.
No, he should have been the starter. Forget that. They stuck with Wentz instead of Foles. Foles took him to the Super Bowl and won. If it wouldn't have been for that ball going through Alshon Jeffrey's hands against the Saints, they might have gone back-to-back with the Super Bowl. Like, they were always good with Foles. They always were good with him. Like, I never, and like every Eagles fan, I'm like, dude, no. I mean, Foles just worked with you guys. Like, it's like Baker working with Tampa. Like, it just works. Like, he didn't work with anybody else, but it works with them. You know, Baker's worked out really well. I think Tampa is they're a sneaky good team. I think they're a team that could be pushing to go.
I think that's going to be the dark horse. I think they're the dark horse in the NFC. For sure.
I think the Rams are also up there too.
No, I don't think they're a dark horse. I think they're the favorite to win the NFC.
It's them and Philly, and I think getting Devontae Adams for the Rams was a huge move.
For sure.
So
we already know Tampa's going to win the South. Saints are trash.
Yes.
Go Pack, go! They got more than 2. They loaded up.
Good offense.
They have not only do they have 2 really good starting wide receivers, I don't know if you watched McMillan last year at the end of his career, end of the season, and getting Ibuka in the first round of the draft this year. I think that general manager is a genius. You literally go from two guys. One's definitely going to be in the Hall of Fame. The other one is a very solid guy in Godwin. You got Evans and Godwin. And now you've got these two kids learning underneath them that can step in and play. That is just straight genius Tampa and Minnesota are two teams that know how to find wide receivers. I think Minnesota for the long haul has been a little bit better, but Tampa recently, wow, they have found guys. And don't forget about Cameron Brate. That guy is a really underrated tight end for Tampa. That guy's a really underrated player. So,
yeah.
Now, how would you guys? Here's another thing to throw out there. What, let's say hypothetically, the Vikings are like 6-5. Now, let's say they're 6-5. But let's say that they're like in third at 6-5 in the division, and we're getting towards the trade deadline. When would you think about if to get future capital? Would you or wouldn't you think about trading Hawkinson, Addison, or both? Would you think about it?
I would definitely think about Addison because a wide receiver needy team would pay out the wazoo for that.
Mm-hmm.
Hawkinson, on the other hand, he's getting to the back end of his career. You may be lucky to get a third.
Well, I would take a third for Hawkinson for sure. I mean, I would. I mean, and I think a guy that and Darren knows this. I think a guy I really like that they re-signed was Josh Oliver. I feel like they could be using him more than just being that blocking tight end. I think he's got a lot more talent that Minnesota has not seen. I think getting rid of that paperweight Johnny Munt was a really good move because I don't care how good of a number 3 tight end he is. I feel like he's not good. I think that Gavin Bartholomew, the tight end they took from Pitt, has got some possibilities. And the kid that they took from Georgia, I think it's Ben Urasek. Yeah. That guy was a good tight end at Georgia. He paired really well with Bowers. Mm-hmm. Like Urasek was more of the blocking one for the running backs, but he could still catch. So I think they've got a couple of good prospects there. So I think moving a Hawkinson to me, I would move Hawkinson just if you could get something for him. I feel like Addison, to me, if you truly don't think you're going to be able to sign him or you're not going to want to sign him to a big contract, get as much as you possibly can. If you can get a first-round pick for Addison, like let's say we're 6-5 and he's got 700 yards receiving and like 6-7 touchdowns. I think that would be premium time to move him if we don't think we're going to be in the hunt for the playoffs.
Yeah, 100%. My thing is like, giving up draft capital. I mean, we saw this past draft, we only had like 4 fucking picks, so we really had to wine and dine in the draft. So I don't want something like that again. But
yeah, that's the thing. Like getting picks for those guys would be good.
If we could swap tight ends with somebody, I'd be all for that. But the question is who would you swap?
I think I've got a perfect guy, absolutely perfect fit there. If you could, how about you trade TJ Hawkinson to the Atlanta Falcons for Kyle Pitts? Younger, not on a big contract. I feel like they have not used him right at all. Like they've got a guy in Bijan Robinson who's a bang-em tight end or bang-em running back, and you have a tight end that is just a pass catching tight end. I think Kyle Pitts would be a nice fit if you were to move Hawkinson in a tight end for tight end swap.
Watching him drop a lot of balls, I'd be all for that, but he needs to work with the ball machine.
Yeah.
For sure.
I agree. But I think with McCarthy and I think with the program that they're running in Minnesota now, with it being like a very tight end, maybe just a limited offense initially and trying to get the running game going. Again, I think having those other young tight ends that can block, I think that would be a pretty good thing. I really believe Dallas Turner's have a big year, young player. I think without Patrick Jones being on the team, it does open up opportunity for Dallas to more opportunity. I think initially last year, I want to say Patrick Jones had like 6 or 7 sacks in the first 7-8 weeks, something like that. I could be wrong on that, but I was still bigger on us drafting Jared Verse than I was us drafting Dallas Turner. There was just something about a guy like, this is not a knock on Dallas Turner at all, but there's something about a guy coming from a college where he was the one defensive weapon and every team had to set their blocking scheme to block this guy. And he still tore up the ACC. Like, if you got if he can still put numbers up there and their defense is on, the offensive line is attached to just stopping you. That's one thing. Dallas Turner being on Alabama, it's 5-star everything at Alabama.
Right.
I mean, their backup is a 5-star recruit. Their backup is a 4-star recruit. Like they get the best of everything. So it's not that he's not talented. It's just it's hard to see what kind of individual talent he has when everybody else around him is balling out. So it's tough to kind of to distinguish what he is. And plus last year, they signed Grenard and they signed Van Ginkel, and both, you can talk about his production or whatever. I'm like, well, where's he going to crack the lineup? Both guys were Pro Bowlers. The 2 guys at his position are Pro Bowlers. So I think that I think something that's going to help him though is Hargrave and Allen coming to the defensive line. I think that's going to spread out the offensive linemen to block those guys. And it's going to open up more lanes for the other players to get in and hit the quarterback.
Yeah. Yeah. And the fact of it's like Verse is a great player. We saw it last year. Killed his
I would have loved to have him.
Yeah. He's just a bigger guy too. I think he's like 6'6", 6'7". Like he's a big guy. Yeah. So I would have liked to have seen him, but again, that's not taking away from Dallas Turner. That really isn't taking away from him. What I would love to see Dallas do, to be totally honest with you, I would love to see him figure out a way to be a middle. Have him and Pace be like middle linebackers to go with the scheme of having both Van Ginkel and Grenard on the field together, but also having Turner providing interior pass rush pressure as well.
Yeah.
Because
having him and Pace provide that interior pass rush.
If you could figure out a way to rotate Turner, Pace, Cashman, maybe Cashman more on running downs, but having Turner being that middle guy with Pace on passing downs, I feel like that could be of great value. And I think if Turner could also develop into a guy who could cover tight ends, even better. Use athleticism to do that.
All right. Well, I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in. It was a pleasure having Matthew on the show with us tonight. Tune in next Saturday, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. Skol.
Skol, baby.
Yeah, yo, it's game time. Ain't no messing around. Huddle Sports Network, the best in town. From NFL rumors to the latest trends, we got all your sports. Just tune in, my friends. Catch us on Roku, Fire Stick, take your pick. Facebook, YouTube, where the action's slick. Daily shows that drop like a bomb. From 10 to 11, it's Ken and Ken. Stay calm. Huddle up, catch the vibe, feel the rush. Get your news, get your fills in the clutch. Over 27 podcasts, we breaking it down. Join the team, Huddle Sports, wear the crown. Live every weekday, it's how we roll. Lions Talk with Jeremy B, we taking a stroll. From 11 to 12, don't miss a beat. We break down the game, make the info sweet. The Daily Huddle Podcast, noon to 1. CST Zone, we're just having fun. Toss your doubts, we bring the facts. Tune into the Huddle.